I made myself this regular white button-up shirt, nothing fancy about it, and yet it cost me that much to make. All right, easy. A little dramatic. That's the conservative estimate. And then I also made another 2, so we're gonna have to get our calculator out. Before that, let's take a step back and we'll see how we ended up here. I made this sample shirt thinking I'd figure out the little kinks and odd bits to fix, hit record and move on to making the final shirts. Well, it turns out it's a page 1 rewrite. The collar's too big, too tight in the shoulders, upper body, but then yet somehow the forearms are too tight. The sleeves are tight under here, but also loose at the same time. I need to go back to my pattern. Start from there. That tight yet baggy sleeve issue was of my own making. I was being a little bit lazy. I needed to add a little extra length along the top curve to accommodate a bigger armhole, but instead I just added a bit on either side, which of course then adds extra fabric to the sleeve. What I should be doing is just deepening the curve along the top. A shallow curve means that the sleeve's going to point straighter out, but also make the sleeve bigger, whereas a really deep curve means the sleeve will point down and also be more fitted. That also explains why on blazers and fancy coats, the curve on the sleeve is super deep so it hangs nice and straight down. With the pattern fully updated, it's time to cut out some fresh pieces of fabric and make sample number 2. Oh, still so much to do. Montage and a backing track. Editing corn, yeah?
Triple nice, hella bad. That my vibe, get a stack. Watch me grind, get the bag. Yeah. Triple nice, hella bad. That my vibe, get a stack. Watch me grind, get the bag. Run it up.
Give it a nice little pressing. Looks like I've ironed out my issues. Feeling pretty good about this one. Look at the collars fitting real nice. I'm happy with the sleeves. The shoulders are at the right place. I can move my arms. In fact, I like this shirt so much, I've put on a label and I'm going to keep it in my wardrobe and wear it. Okay, I'm ready to move on to the final shirts. And this time around, I'm doubling up, making 2 at the same time. In an effort to better understand the shirt making process, I also did some research, specifically on the yokes, and well, that curiosity was warranted. The grain of the fabric runs perfectly up and down this way, and if I give that a little tug, there's no give in that. Even lengthwise, there's none whatsoever. But had I cut it on a 45-degree angle so that the grain runs diagonally like that, suddenly there's some stretch in the fabric. So should you need plenty of movement in your shirt, that's a great solution for the piece in the back here. If we go down history lane, one of the main reasons why yokes even exist is because back in the day when people still wore blazers and suits, it would shift the seam on the top of the shoulder here forward and back so that there isn't a pressure point. And so if we look at some old photos, you see that the yoke really sort of sits on top as opposed to in the back like mine is right now. Until 5 o'clock. All right. One more day, and I reckon I get these puppies done. Let's clean up. I'm gonna get the shirts done today. That's my goal. And I'm on a time limit, so no time to waste. Starting off on the right side. Yet another example of making sure I take the time to do things right. I mean, it's just top stitching. It'll be fine on the inside like this, but absolutely not. Undo that. And back to it. Looking a lot like a shirt. Just the bottom hem, buttonholes and buttons to do. Spoiler alert, that's still quite a bit of work. It ended up taking a whole nother day to get the shirts done. So, to celebrate, Editing Corn, give us a few glamour shots.
Well, my man is okay. Anytime they see me, they don't want to feel me. They just want to talk. Take it raw and okay. If they play my music, if you get my CD, if you hate me when you see me now, they want to know. Talk about me in the street, to myself, they make them. They got to go. Talk about me in the bed, to my calm down.
Now, the pricing. But before we get into that, a little bit of good news. I have officially procured a sponsor. Ooh, those VPN overlords send a bit of cashola our way, huh? No. In fact, this week's video is sponsored by me. I have started a Patreon account, and keeping it simple to start. It's just 2 tiers. First is the I'm just here to show support tier. And in exchange for roughly the price of one fancy coffee every month, I'll give you access to these videos before they go live on YouTube. Also, thanks for finding the link to my Patreon before I even shared it publicly. Appreciate the support. The other option is the I want more tier. Here I'm going to share extra scenes that don't make it into the video, behind the scenes, things that I think about, stuff that goes into making these videos. I'll probably have some polls every once in a while if you want to participate. It's essentially the, you know what, I want a bit more corn in my life tier. So if that's you and you're feeling generous, I'd really appreciate it. And in fact, thank you again. You found the link before I even publicly shared it. Very much appreciated. If either of those two are of interest to you, the Patreon link is in the description. But perhaps maybe, you're not looking to contribute a monthly stipend, but you'd like to send a little my way. I'll gladly accept it. There's also a PayPal link for a one-off donation. And thank you, to the 4 of you who've already done so. It's generous, it's kind, and anything you send my way is wonderful. Again, everything, link in the description. Now that I have hopefully emotionally manipulated you well, let's move on to how much these shirts cost me. I work from home as a freelance web and graphic designer. I've done this for about 5 years now. And I've done this because it gives me the opportunity to work on this stuff alongside that work. I mean, I guess theoretically, maybe I'm just a client of my own. Be honest, this client has not worked out well in the past. Doesn't pay the bills. So for this project specifically, I decided, let me track my hours just like I have with all those other clients. So Editing Corn, let's see those numbers. Now, if I were to invoice myself, my lowest possible rate, and this is the one I offer to my oldest clients who I've worked with the longest and are the most loyal, well then, it would look something like this. But maybe I'm a new client, in which case, then it looks something like this. Sure, I probably could have shaved off quite a bit of time there, but then the goal at the end of the day with this has always been to produce work that I'm proud of, to a standard that I can say, I'm proud of this. Maybe that's a bit of a simple way of looking at it. On the flip side, we all only have so many hours in our lives before we kick the can. So perhaps it's not so much what our time is worth as opposed to what we spend our time doing. And the fact that I have the time, the freedom, the ability to do this, something I truly want to do, in that case, these videos, these shirts, this whole endeavor, it's priceless. Treated myself to some bespoke button-ups from the tailor. Oh, there's the invoice. Okay, and oh my God. I see at the end of the day they aren't priceless, huh?